I knew you didn't know about it, most people don't know that. Well, what is it?
I'd like to call to order the mayor and town council meeting for Tuesday, July 8th, 2025 in the Worcester County Government Center Boardroom, room 102. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. You may be seated. Thank everyone for coming this evening. You take a look at your packet. We are now on number 3, recognition of Worcester County Technical High School for construction and donation of a new goat feeding apparatus for Goat Island. So we have 2 guests with us, Principal Bevilacqua and Clint Timmons. Would you come forward? I'll read this to you and then come on up here. And we have what is called a citizen spotlight. And so we recognize the special citizens in our community who do great things for us and our town. And so I'd like to read this to you now. Is that good? Okay. Okay. A certificate of commendation presented to the students of Worcester County Technical High School with appreciation for their gift on a new feeding apparatus for the goats residing on Goat Island in the center of the Pocomoke River. Whereas in response to a request from Snow Hill Department of Public Works, 4 students of Worcester County Technical High School designed and constructed a feeder system for the goats on Goat Island that allowed for the controlled distribution of different types of food in a feeder that was stable and could not be overturned. And whereas with the full support of Principal Tony Bevilacqua and carpentry teacher Clint Timmons, the students took about a week to design and build an exceptional feeding structure, giving them a valuable learning experience while filling a need for the town of Snow Hill. Now, therefore, as mayor of the town of Snow Hill, Maryland, it is my pleasure to present this certificate of commendation to the students and leadership of Worcester County Technical High School for invaluable service to our community, making you our choice for the Citizen Spotlight for July 2025. Presented this 8th day of July in the year 2025, attested by Rick Pollock and Mayor Janet T. Simpson, myself. So, congratulations. We like to get a picture of you also. So, council, if you would join me, please. And we have our staff photographer. Mr. Learning Hall. Rick, you want to come up too? Come on. Let's see, you guys. Who wants to hold on?
Climb on his shoulders.
Yeah, there we go.
Where's the goats?
First goats.
Well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Nice.
again.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. Okay, number 4, mayor's presentation, second year vision and goals. So as this is my second year, I thought that maybe I would go over some of my vision and goal setting for the year. So everybody would be able to see what I am looking at for the next year. These are some of the things. They're not everything, because as anybody knows and staff knows that things come up new every day that we try to solve. And they do a great job of it. So I'd like to start with communication and community engagement. And some of this is a continuation of things I have already done. And I'll go through it very, very quickly. And some of them are new, so I may talk a little bit more about the new things, but we're still going to have a roundtable and office hours to enhance community interaction. And this is a big one. This is a launch of our new website. And Mr. Pollock and I got to look at it today, and it's going to be amazing. It covers so many things, and they're all in one place. And I think Justin said, and Ms. McAllister, we're talking about it's all in one place. It's not scattered around the website. And we are thinking that it will be really soon, maybe even Monday. So I think we're trying to launch it on Monday. And this is Civics Plus, and we've been waiting for it for a long time. And there's going to be a place where you can go on and put your email address, and you can get notifications, you can get a newsletter, and this will help expedite our communication to the community. Expanded youth representation. We will continue to have a member from the Snow Hill High School, and we will have ongoing live streaming of town meetings and citizen spotlight initiatives, just like we had tonight. Okay, legislation. These are some of the things that we're working on now and continuing to work on. We have revisions to the Snow Hill Charter, and we've been working on that for 3 years now. And hopefully that will come to an end soon. And we will be the committee will be passing that to the council, since you're in charge of our legislation. And we'll be passing that. And we have a meeting this Thursday evening. And we have some things that we are going to present to the council very, very quickly. Also implementing the vacant commercial property regulations, introduction of rental property inspections and registration, review implementation of fees and fines, and annexation of schools into the town of Snow Hill. Now, some of the fees and fines we had were water and sewer hookups, trash, road parks, train station, bird park, and Sturgis Park rentals. So all of those come under the fines and fees. And we also have a critical areas update. And we also have trailer, mobile, modular, and manufactured homes as part of our legislative issues that we're going to be dealing with. Okay, current projects for completion. Purnell Street ribbon cutting. That's going to be on July 18th. We have invited the mayor, and not the mayor, but the governor. And we're waiting on a response from there, and hopefully he may be able to come. Comprehensive plan consultant selected, hopefully maybe by this fall. And then planning commission work will begin. Groundbreaking for Bank Street in the fall of 2025, and a legacy grant has just gone out to help that out. And reopening of Purnell Museum with new staff, and that means a director, an assistant director, and new members of the board, and they're called Friends of the Purnell Museum. Wastewater treatment plant. Okay, that's in the next one. Okay. Yeah. Wastewater treatment plan, UV upgrades funded, I hope, and implemented. Colburn Lane well backup generator grant goes through. Strategic demolition fund for the town annex grant. police accountability, community policing and transparency, new police and security grants. We also have the Sturgis Park bathroom grant implementation. Hopefully that's coming soon. A safety committee plan, and that's of staff members. New police station, West Market, hopefully in by August 1st. Are we having a ribbon cutting, you think? We should, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, we got to celebrate that. And demolition of Willow Street building, which I think some people are glad that that's in the works. And investigating options to restore the firehouse as a true community asset. And I did want to talk about that just a few minutes because I think there's been a little bit of misinformation out in the community about it. I just want to say that 2 years ago, the firehouse was declared and voted on by the Snow Hill Council to be surplus. And surplus means government exactly, or entity, no longer needs the property for its operations or responsibilities and in making it available for sale. And the review a year ago needed repairs to the building, revealed large expenses, and the report was given to the mayor and council and the public. The council toured the building and agreed that the police department should be relocated. And in order to find any eligible buyers, the firehouse was placed on the market and the mayor and council were notified at the last meeting. Anyone else interested in the building should make sure that they contact the realtors, or they can contact Rick Pollock and get more information about that. And as far as selling the firehouse, the council must have a public hearing. We must have a public hearing, and the council has to vote on that. Okay, next one. Economic vitality, Snow Hill marketing plan. We're hoping to boost local businesses, and that's a development of that, and having businesses and tax incentives, and collaboration with the local partners that you see at the bottom, such as Snow Hill Chamber of Commerce, the county tourism, the Coast Branch. And we have some upcoming projects, mitigation plan to remediate the flooding at Bird Park. What we're trying to do here is we don't have a lot of money, but we're just looking at maybe the first steps of that mitigation plan. Construction of basketball courts at Bird Park, and we're looking at the first steps to provide a new basketball court there, and one that we can be proud of. I know most of you have seen Berlin right on 113 and how nice it is, and that is something that we would like to have and be very proud of it. Development of single-family homes. And also get a firm handle on available sewer capacity. We've been working with our engineering firm with that. And also creation of a master plan for Sturgis Park, and first steps in becoming a year-round attraction to have it closed in. Citizen-run groups. Now, when the council and all the council went to the Maryland Municipal League conference, and there were a lot of citizens who worked for different projects in their communities. And I'm just kind of throwing this out, and even to the council members who are maybe interested in this. I know for one thing, Councilperson Fletcher has been very interested in pedestrian safety. And looking at our crosswalks, looking at our speed bumps, etc. And I went to one of the work sessions, and they even put signs in their yards, the community, slow down for our town. That was kind of cute, and had signs like that. And so people kind of picked up on that, and it was a whole community organization of trying to make sure that people aren't speeding. Another one is to increase voter participation in Snow Hill. There were communities who had hot dogs and hamburgers at the site of or across the street from the voting booths. Trying to get people there and understand that this is very important for them to be there. So if anyone's interested in that, what I'm going to do is put this out and see if anybody wants to get into a group, a committee. I know my round table would probably be interested in some of this also. Presentations to students and citizen groups to foster engagement, working with Snow Hill High School, Snow Hill Middle School, Snow Hill Elementary School, participation in local events and meetings, including National Night Out and Chamber of Commerce gatherings. So trying to get myself out into the community. And even I have also been thinking about doing some public town hall meetings, either on Zoom in the evenings or at a meeting place in particular. And it may have presentations from the staff or presentations from other county, state officials to come and talk to people. So I'm also I'm working on something like that for this year. I think that's everything. Okay, so that's just kind of a preview of the year. I know it's a lot. I'm trying to make sure that I get as much in as I can in the year. So I'm going to be working hard for the community, and the council, I'm sure, is also engaged in this and may, and if you would like to, at the end with your comments, give any of your vision. Okay, number 5, approval of minutes. Let's take a look at June 3rd work session and June 10th. Regular meeting. Are we okay up there? Okay.
Oh, I'm working on it.
Okay. All right, are there any corrections, additions, or corrections to the minutes of those two? One's regular session and one's work session, or if you have sent your corrections to Ms. Rigoneri already. Anyone? Okay, do I have a motion to accept June 3rd work session and June 10th regular meeting?
I make a motion to accept the minutes from June 3rd and June 10th.
Do I have a second?
Sorry.
I second, but there are corrections that is in both sets of meetings, which I will be forwarding to you.
Okay,
And
so with corrections. Okay, do we have a motion with corrections? Okay, and a second, all in favor say aye. Opposed, hearing none, they are both passed with corrections. That will be sent to Candace. Number 6, treasurer's report. Okay, Councilperson Fletcher, you want to give your treasurer's report? You get it up?
And yeah, I have a different one. So I was just trying to do that.
Okay.
At the end of May,
Okay, let me.
at the end of May, our balance was $3,996,654.27. And the beginning of June was 4,200,000, $4,024,882.71. And, I spoke with Lou on a few things that, made the septic that we still have on here that we received that came from May and it came from Asset. Landlord inspections, which goes straight to First State. And, it is it's the end of the 2025 fiscal year, starting in 2026, and they say she's getting ready for the audit.
Fun time, right? Anything else?
That's all.
Okay. Ms. Hampstead, do you have anything to add to the treasurer's report?
No, not unless there's any questions.
Any questions from the council? Good. Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, treasurer's report is passed. Town manager's report. Mr. Pollitt?
I do have a few things by way of update, since this was prepared yesterday. The planning commission did meet last night. They voted to accept our RFP for consultant services to conduct the comprehensive plan project. The next step was to submit it to state planning for their review and comment. I did that first thing this morning and have already received an email back from the Salisbury office with several suggestions to be included in the RFP. So I'm meeting with Paul later this week to incorporate them in our draft, because as you know, the consultant's position is being funded through a grant, and we want to make sure we dot all our i's and cross all our t's with the states. So that project is continuing pretty much on schedule. I wanted to refer to the Purnell Street Infrastructure Dedication Program. I know Councilman Lee has asked for involvement in the organization of that. We haven't quite nailed the July 18th date. I am meeting with a member of the governor's staff on Monday,
Okay.
and I'm hoping to find out for sure, relatively sure, if he can attend on that date, or if not, I think we would all be comfortable rescheduling to another date if the governor joins us.
Okay.
So once we have that on stone, then I would certainly be in touch to organize how we're going to conduct that dedication, because I know there are people that have been involved that should include. The only other thing I was going to add is that under the list of upcoming meetings, I did not include a work session date on Tuesday, August 5th. That's the night of our National Night Out. It's always on the first Tuesday of August. The police department hosts in town. And so as the date gets closer and we look at agenda items that need attention, whether council, the mayor will want to move that date or just cancel that work session, we can decide that then, but that's why it's not
Right,
on
I
the
saw
list.
that. Okay. August 2nd.
Fifth.
Yeah. Anything else?
I'll just throw this out that, as I mentioned in my report, the town office will close at noon on Friday for the employees' annual summer picnic that the town's always graciously provided for us. We certainly like to extend an invitation to mayor and council members to join us over at Sturgis Park.
Absolutely.
If I may,
Sure.
The town manager's report, the planning commission, and I believe it was the plan and
Bring your, close to the mic, or you can use that one, bring it, there you go.
the three reports that I just received a little over an hour ago, and one was yours, Rick, one was, I believe, your report?
I saw last week.
What were the three reports that I got?
They were sent out yesterday. It was the town manager, economic development, and planning, zoning, and building.
Okay, what, Mayor, I'm reserving the right to come back to you or to whoever, because I have not read them, only got them now, you know. So I would like to come back if I have any questions about it after we, you know.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Any other questions from council?
Have the meetings changed from the train station to town hall?
We had our first meeting last night, of a board, at the town hall annex. The planning commission met over there last night. We've got new carpet in, paint job is complete. It looks like it's gonna be in good shape. We intend to move the audiovisual equipment over from the firehouse and install there. So our intention is from now on as long as we don't, run out of space, is to continue to meet at the town hall annex for the boards and commissions.
And it has internet there.
Internet is available
It's
there, which we don't
available.
have at the
We
train
don't have it at
station.
the train station.
Thank you.
Any others? Mr. Watkins, you know? Okay. Economic development. Ms. McAllister. Anything you'd like to add?
There's not much that I would like to add. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, who helped make the 4th of July or 5th of July, Independence Day celebration a success. We estimate over 3,000 people in attendance, and we didn't have one negative incident. So it was a wonderful event. Great time as a community, and there was a lot of time and effort that went into the plan. Different agencies, so special thanks to all of it. Downtown Snow Hill and the Snow Hill Area Chamber of Commerce. And Rotary provided quite a few volunteers as well, so.
Good.
I would also just point out that there are a number of meeting dates within my report for different meetings that are upcoming, so just to bring that to everybody's experience.
Okay. Council, any questions? Councilperson Lumpkins.
What time does the Dancing Under the Stars on July 19th start?
7 o'clock.
Councilperson Fletcher? No?
Thank you for including the dates in the report.
Then sorry. The 3-tier structure, we're applying for being a designated downtown. What's the third level up from that?
So the designated status is the full,
Okay,
that is the official, that's the whole shebang. So they're giving us the opportunity to apply for that designation outside of the structure that they have kind of laid out. And whether or not that gets approved, you know, that'll still be, you know, it'll be their decision to make. We will need a resolution, from the mayor and council to pursue that. And then any letters of support, will definitely, you know, go to make our case a little bit stronger.
right, thank you. I'm good.
Okay. Councilperson Fletcher? I'm done. Okay. All right, planning, zoning and building. Mr. Flood?
The only thing two things I'd like to include, one is that last night at the planning commission meeting, we were able to get approval for the development of the property at 201 East Market Street, which will be for Cypress Inn LLC and I'm sorry, terrible foreign names. I apologize. There's going to be a high-end restaurant that is going to be in there also. That was approved last night, and they're going to be looking to take over around August 15th to pick up some of the weddings that were going to be there already. So it's a huge boom for the town, and their goal is within the next 2 years to try to get a Michelin certification for the restaurant. To actually have a Michelin star restaurant in Snow Hill.
Great.
The
We're
last
talking
thing,
about River House.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. It was the River House Inn.
Right.
It's gonna be renamed Cypress Inn.
Okay.
The last thing is this will be my last meeting, and I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank, Rick, the manager, mayor, council, and the administration for all the help that they have given me. This has been a wonderful experience for me and has enabled me to grow and to learn quite a bit, and Maureen for her patience and leading me through a lot of the stuff that I had to learn. I appreciate all the effort and opportunities you gave me to affect the town at least in a little bit. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, and we thank you for all your hard work, and don't be a stranger, come back and visit, please.
When the restaurant is open, I'll have a standing invitation.
Yeah.
And now the fishing here is great. I'll be back.
Yes, oh, good, great. Any questions?
I have a question. Can you explain to me on the River House thing, the issue we were talking about, the parking? I didn't get it. Remember they said, there was something about, it was on a line, parking that would be available for them, an oversized wedding.
For the different things that they're going to have there are some parking requirements that are going to be needed. They can use the existing public parking lot that is there to an extent, but they have to have a backup for it and another plan. What they are doing to make sure that, they're gonna have, part of their plan is to have a wedding facility there, where they will have smaller weddings, less than 125 individuals at the wedding. And what they will do is if there is a need, they will have people park at an offsite lot that they own and transfer them there via shuttle. So that it does not impact adversely downtown Snow Hill. So they have taken into their business plan an opportunity to help reduce the traffic that would be caused by a wedding of 125 individuals coming for to be at a wedding. So that was one of the concerns that had to be addressed as part of the plan. Also, the inn itself for the restaurant, per square foot of dining space has to have a certain number of parking spots attributed to it, as well as the bedding rooms, the bedrooms that people would be staying at overnight. And then there also has to be parking allotted for the caretakers, however many caretakers they have for the inn.
So the thing was, and I'm fully supportive of it, but it went by me, I just didn't get it. So they have got off-site parking for, no overflow. And they will transport those people from there to.
Where the River House Inn is currently, yes. They own another facility, I believe it's called Castle Farms, up towards Berlin. And they have a property in between the two towns that is reasonable for them to have people park and shuttle them there. And it's something that they have done previously to help address some of the concerns that towns had with traffic. And so they're just going to adopt that for this property also.
Thank you. And I too want to join in you last night here, your last time in, to really about how much we appreciate you doing and what you've done. Last night, no exception in terms of your ability to deal with situations and be professional and accurate. Thank you so very much.
Councilperson Watkins. Councilperson Fletcher.
I have a question. I don't see the complaint, the email that I sent. Is there an update on that?
There is an update on that. We did go out and investigate that property. It was not an ongoing one. It was just one that I had recently received, so I did not include it into that report. However, we did send out notices both, for three things. For the high grass, for the RV that is parked in the property, and for the dog kennel with, uh, waste around it. As a restriction to what I can do, I cannot go onto someone's property without their permission. So I have to do all of my inspections from public accesses. But I am allowed to, and I do this often, climb up on the top of my vehicle and to scan in with my
That's not
phone.
safe.
So I did see that there were a good bit of feces and other dog wastes that were in the property. So those three notices were sent. And I think I did email you afterwards to
Yeah.
also.
No, I was just I did get the email. I was just wondering if it was in anything else that,
I have not heard anything back from them yet. As to what's been addressed, however, I'm scheduled to go back tomorrow to look at it again to see if anything has been done. Because whenever I get a notification, I always put 7 days later to go back out and to look at the problem. And this was as close to 7 days later as I could get.
and I also want to thank you for what you have done.
Okay. All right, Public Works, Ms. Garfield.
I only have one thing, Mayor. I want to thank the council, Rick, Laurie, Candace, for attending the, Purnell Street tour on Sunday, June the 22nd, when we carried the people from NML. It turned out to be a good time, and I just want to thank y'all and appreciate all your help.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Barfield?
I have a question. The meter pits and the meters that you, excuse me, that you changed, were they resident meters on your report here?
No, the ones that we did, on Green Street were for, businesses. One we did on Market Street was a homeowner. The one on Gumby that we have to do, the meter hasn't come in yet, that will be for the apartments.
Water wastewater treatment plant?
Yeah, one thing I want to add, after much delay, Washington Street rehab has started on Monday, June 30th. And it should be completed and wrapped up for the end of the month. So we're hoping to have that back online by the end of July.
Okay. Any questions, council?
Yes, I have a question. I got an email from, were you copied on the email from the attorney?
Yeah.
Could you share with us where that stands?
Right now, the Attorney General's office for the state of Maryland has reached out to the town's attorney about starting to negotiate settlement with the previous violations at the plant. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Kind of blindsided.
Yep.
Where do we go with this?
Well, we'll follow the process. We will meet with them. Maureen will be sending a letter in response to the Attorney General's request. And there'll be a meeting involved, and we'll see what they have in their mind. Take it from there. We're blindsided only at the time. We were kind of surprised that we were notified right now in the midst of so much progress. They have their schedule, and we'll.
I know we don't want to discuss politics, this, I know, I'm good, but I think that for those of us who understand what's taking place, I hope you reach out to somebody. I'm interested.
I know exactly what you're saying. I made the same comments earlier today. Yes, sir.
Councilperson Lumpkins?
No.
Councilperson Fletcher?
I have a couple of questions and a compliment. the well,
Mhm.
I know I was in the meeting for, when you were talking about the well for, have you all, but for Dunkin' and McDonald's?
Yep.
You went forward with
We-
that.
We have a meeting, tomorrow with the owner of Duck Inn about the well. And I will hope to get some headway and figure out what we're going with it going forward.
And for the, on your report where you put, flush hydrants
Mhm.
around town, could you, would it be a problem if you, put like the streets you did for that month?
No. I won't be, start doing that next month.
And I want to compliment you on keeping the compliance up and the improvements, even though we did get that email.
All right.
That was a good thing, yes. Okay. Okay, Mr. Bissett, Grant's office, anything to add?
I don't really have anything further to add. The big ticket item is the Sturgis Park bathrooms. And I am constantly monitoring the Board of Public Works, meeting, agendas to see when Snow Hill will come up. And as of yet, we haven't, and we're not on the next one either. So all I know is we have definitely made the short list. We just need the BPW to sign off on it. I'd like to believe that's sort of typically a rubber stamp situation, but
Okay.
I'm not, I never count my chickens before they hatch. And on, it'll actually be in next month's report, but it's weird because it's the fiscal year. So we did just get a state aid for police protection grant. So we just got, I think, the number states it was either 38,000 or 34,000. There was a slight reduction 3 previous years, but it's still better than what it was, I guess, before COVID and things like that. So that's a win. That's a win. And the
Yes.
bathrooms will be a big win. That won't be easy once we get the money. There'll be a lot of, hoops to jump through because of the location. We can only hope that the plans that DBF had, that we got from them, combined with our new engineering firm, we can hopefully sort of seamlessly integrate that information and make this happen within a reasonable period of time. I'd love to have everything new by next July 4th.
Yes.
That'd be great.
That would be
Outside, I don't really have anything
great.
specific unless anybody has specific questions about anything.
Questions, Councilperson Hawkins?
Me and Randy Barfield toured the Sturgis dock down there, and the water and electrical hookups for the slips for the boats, they look about like 30 or 40 years old. They have stuff growing on them. I was just wondering if there's any kind of grant money out there. Let's maybe replace the 4 that we have down there.
Last year, the individual from the DNR came down and we looked at the docks, okay?
Mhm.
Also on the same day, the gentleman from the DNR who handles the living shorelines, he came down as well. And they basically kind of kicked around a bunch of ideas what could possibly be done. There are grants for things like that, like in that, because there are grants specifically designed for the boating community, right? At this point, it would matter of fund availability, which is everything is being cut, and just formulate what we want to do. And yeah, the guy's a great guy. I can call him up and ask him what we can do. I'll put it on my list.
Thank you.
Yep, I'll call him this week probably. Unless he no longer works there, because that's been happening a lot lately. So I'll call on that person no longer works for that entity, so I get, and then a lot of times that person's responsibilities will fall on a director or an assistant director. And they don't typically know like all the little ins and outs of the small regionality stuff, but I'll get to the bottom of it.
Using, Berlin as an example, or receiving condos for money for different programs that they have, particularly along the lines, the one that I sent you this week, last week, or never said possibility, but more specifically, they get, and many of the counties or townships get money for grants out there for minority communities, minority programs and what have you. And what I'm finding is that they have designated, the townships or communities have a designated area in their community that they want to, what's the word? Keep culturally, to enhance it. What's help me, you hear where I'm coming
Are you
from?
talking about the just communities?
Huh?
The just communities?
Yeah,
Okay, so all of Snow Hill, we are, Snow Hill, the whole town is that type of community. So, you know, and there are different things available. Like I've said before, it's a matter of like, we have a project idea and we can work on a project, then I can find out exactly who'll give us the money. And then I can start hammering at them and get them to give us some money, yeah.
I know how, yeah, I guess maybe it's a comprehensive plan. Also, but prior to the comprehensive plan, you have any recommendations how we as a community can address it? Facing reality, how can we?
Well, if you're talking about like the recreational sites, like in Bird Park and stuff, the DNR is a great source for that, and I thought we could do that this year. However, our local liaison, he told me, initially, we thought we could do it in 26, but he sent me information where parts of the Bird Park recreational facility, like the basketball court and the pavilions and stuff, have pushed us into 2027. So next year, we can apply for like the community parks and playgrounds for that. And the cost of redoing the basketball courts, if we do it fancy, colorful like Berlin, is a little more. But if we just do really nice, cool, regular painted courts, it's a few thousand less. We could go either way. And that's not a huge number. So we conceivably, that number wouldn't frighten them, you know what I mean? It all depends on how much money is available. Go ahead.
For the benefit of council, would you explain, my colleagues, would you explain just communities?
It's a new thing from the government, right? So I'm not an expert on it. When Larissa, I saw an email from Larissa, so I was looking at it then. When you were asking about, so that initially when you emailed me, it was about that the cannabis thing, and then it just sort of loopholed. So as of this time, because of everything else we've had going on and getting in some big grant applications, I'm not an expert on it yet, but I can look at it this week, and so that I'm more well versed on it, and I can give you like straight up answers.
All straight up, the reason I want to know, is because I want to be able to, once we define where we want to go to the source.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
governor made a commitment to us, and I want to call him on it. And say, I want to follow through and his graciousness.
No, I think, you know, that we should take advantage of every avenue of funding that we can find. Snow Hill, we need grants. Snow Hill is is a community that we need these things to help us
You will come back.
grow, not necessarily just maintain where we are, but to grow. So,
We'll come back to this for the definition with it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah, and like I said, my normal, like I usually try to suggest is when we have projects, then there's a bazillion grants. And so when we have at least a somewhat defined project, then I'm like loaded for bear. Then I can start go hunting for the bear, you know, and that's the grant. I just kind of always need some sort of specific direction. And I'm not really in that position. I don't feel as I'm in that position, you know, to be deciding where I'm looking to, to do it. That's all. I need directions. That's all.
If you get the definition for us, we can talk about it.
I could have told you yesterday when I was reading it, but now I got a million things rattling around my skull. So.
Thank you.
Hey, and council?
Yeah.
Or Mr. Bissett, you have something? All right, Julia, for now, Mr. Pollitt, will you just bring us up to date where we are?
Sure, I will say that we have been advertising for a new executive director and assistant director. We are getting a stream of applications. I've received several emails directly to me with applications and resumes, and I understand from Candace that our online services Indeed has also attracted multiple resumes and applications. So I'm not sure if there is a cutoff date, but we will be opening all of those very soon and seeing what we've got.
Yeah, I've gone through the stack I have. You probably have yours. You can go through.
I've got the ones that have been emailed to me. I haven't seen the Indeed
Yes.
yet.
Yes, oh gosh, there's,
40.
yeah, quite a few. Okay, chief, police department.
So I'll just touch on what Larissa and Randy said. So we had a good July 5th, event, no issues. There was one medical call, that was it. No lost kids, no lost dogs. So that was a good thing. Our speed bump supply should be coming in soon. I did get a shipping manifest, so they should be in here soon as Randy and I can breathe. We'll try to pick out where we're gonna put those. I just don't know. I don't know when that's gonna be, but it will be sooner than later.
Okay.
And finally, we just started our first annual Take a Kid Fishing. We're getting a lot of good response from that, seeing a lot of kids out on.
Are you?
Yep, so anything we can do to highlight the river, and do it
Yes.
safely, that's what we're
Great.
trying to do.
Great idea.
Yep, and thanks to Mr. Lee, he's kind of spearheaded getting the funding for National Night Out, so he's handed out several letters for me. We're following up with some of the businesses, so we're hoping to have a good one this year. Will be at Bird Park, so
Okay.
from 5 to 7.
We take turns, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Chief, if I may, I'm gonna give you a report, this week. I'll have it to you by Friday, so you'll know where we are, what's in-house, what's in hand, and what's, so I haven't run away from you. I just, you've got it, okay.
A lot going on. Yes,
Cause
sir.
I'll get it to you.
Councilperson Lumpkins,
Bill.
please, no, Councilperson Fletcher, for this department. Okay, we do not have our fire chief, our new fire chief. Anybody have any questions that you can give Mr. Pollock to ask the fire chief from the, report from the fire department?
I have one, Rick, and I'll call you tomorrow, or
Okay,
text you, whatever, email.
any others? All right. Okay. All right,
I think they also had a question. Hearing this week,
is that,
the fire department.
the fire department?
That was a wonderful event.
Good, good. Okay, ordinance 2025-10, for second reading. Rick or Maureen would like to go over anything addition to that or just review?
And this is the critical area ordinance. You had your work session, you had your first reading. State law requires each local jurisdiction to review its critical area program every 10 years. We just went through this process with the state critical area staff. They helped us work on this project. Aaron, Candace, Rick, we had the Zoom call with the state officials. It's your comprehensively updated critical area ordinance in line with the new state laws over the last year.
Do I have a motion to pass ordinance 2025-10 on the second reading?
I make a motion to pass ordinance 2025-10 on second reading.
Do I have a second?
One second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, ordinance 2025-10 is passed. Next ordinance, that's the long one. I mean, the first one. I'm gonna go here, okay, just go to this. Ordinance number 2025-11. On the second reader. Maureen, would you like to go over that?
Yes, this relates to the updates you wanted to do to the trash roll card scheme. So now it's residential and light commercial properties are charged the rate of, for a mandatory card for $20 and any additional town card for $20. Commercial properties are charged $20, also $20 per roll card bill quarterly. And that is the update to that. It's just basically a clarification on residential and light commercial are one category, and then the commercial properties that need or use besides its regular waste management, they also get charged $20 per roll card.
Okay. Do I have a motion to pass?
Make a motion to pass ordinance 2025-11.
Do I have a second?
Why does this have
Do I have a second?
A second.
Discussion?
Why does this have Diana Walker?
It's been updated. The new one doesn't. The packet that I gave you that's right in front of you doesn't. It's correct.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Ordinance 2025-11 is passed. Ordinance 2025-12, and that's passed on the second reading. This is on the second reading. Attorney Howard, would you go over that, please?
So this is sort of the companion ordinance to the one that we just discussed, and this is one we had to make updates to chapter 155. We were just talking about chapter 133. So we make it clear that owners who wish to have more than one roll cart may request an extra roll cart, and they have to pay the fee. It also states any other commercial property other than a light commercial property that uses the town for solid waste management was required to use the rollout cards provided by the town and to pay the fee in chapter 131.
Okay. Do I have a motion to pass ordinance 2025-12?
I make a motion to pass ordinance 2025-12.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, ordinance 2025-12 is passed. As second reader. All right, now, first readings, ordinance 2025-13. Attorney Howard,
Yes, so the Maryland General Assembly passed House Bill 538, and it's entitled the Housing Expansion and Affordability Act. It went into effect in January. It states local governments must permit certain new manufactured homes and modular homes in zones that allow single-family residential uses. So in light of the change in the state law, we updated the town code. It comes in two ordinances because we had to change chapter 174, where you discuss mobile home manufactured homes and modulars, and then we also had to update the table of permitted uses, which is the next ordinance we're going to talk about. So page 2 of the ordinance is an update of the definitions of manufactured home. That is the newer term used for mobile homes. Mobile home is an outdated term that's not used anymore. Modular dwelling is the more factory built assemblies, and Aaron, you can correct me if I describe anything wrong. And then your those go in line now with your basically your stick built. So those are updates of definitions that needed to be done in the chapter 174. Then, so what it goes on to say is on page 3, uses in residential districts, restricted trailers and mobile homes. It's unlawful for any person to park or leave standing on any private property or to maintain or use as a place for human habitation. Any house, trailer, trailer coach, or mobile home. These are very specific terms within the town of Snow Hill. In a case of emergency and in a residential zone, for no more than 6 months, someone can use those 3 type of living devices, let's call them. If they receive a permit, they're connected to water and sewer, and they comply with all other town laws. We know that we have a little bit of a history here in town of when people have had fires and other things happen, where it's been allowed for a temporary basis. Lots of things that are like the trailer coaches, mobile homes, house trailers aren't meant for long-term living, and mobile home as a definition is for an older structure, and those are not the type of structures that we want people living in permanently in the residential zones. It has to be a manufactured home, which is basically a one that is how would I say it? Built to a better standard
It's
than
built to the HUD standards that went into effect in 1975.
the Fed
A
regulations.
mobile home is anything prior to 1975.
Wouldn't comply with
cross
today's
pieces or something, right?
So that's that.
Okay.
Then if you go to page 4, you've got manufactured homes. which is what Aaron was just talking about, and modular dwellings. Modular is something that's already been allowed in town. Those are the ones that sometimes come in on trailers. They're built in the factory, they come in and then they're assembled on site. But if you didn't know that, they would look like a traditional stick built. So on page 4, this is where the state law change comes into effect, which says a new manufactured home is allowed in the R1 districts. As long as it's outside the historic district, if it'll be, and what the state law requires is that if it is or will be after purchase converted to real property in accordance with the real property article, is on an approved permanent enclosed foundation. If the foundation shall have access panel underneath the home, if exterior materials are substantially similar to homes in the neighborhood, obtains all necessary permits and complies with all laws. So they have to be, they can no longer, they're not mobile anymore. They have to be on a permanent foundation and essentially look like a single family home in the neighborhood. A new modular dwelling may also be allowed in the residential zones if outside the historic district, installed on approved permanent enclosed foundation, obtains all permits in compliance with all other laws. New means newly constructed and never used for habitation previously, and the property the manufactured home and modular dwelling is going to be installed on is its first property it's been located on. Because it has to be new. So a previously used manufactured home, previously used modular home moved from another lot does not qualify. The state law only allows new. The other things that are sort of there are updates where it talks about permits. We needed to list these other type of living arrangements. So, you know, it says house trailer, trailer coach. We needed to add manufactured, modular. Basically, everything's got to get a permit. It has to go through the process. Specifically for manufactured and modular dwellings, they are traditional, so they need to provide site plans and construction drawings when they apply for their permits. We updated the infraction section. It was very outdated at $25. We changed it to $500. And Aaron, if I missed anything that you want to chime on.
No, I think it would just confuse things.
Yeah, and I don't want to, man, I don't want to confuse it either, but I remember when it was working its way through the house. And I guess my question between Aaron and you based on, what are the workarounds on this? If, I don't see the problem here in Snow Hill, but what are the workarounds on this if a community really does not? Workarounds on?
They basically preempted us saying that you have to allow manufactured homes and modulars in your single family residential communities because the state use those as traditional single family homes. And they don't want to price out people by requiring stick builds. You know, the one good thing they did is they made sure that it's like new, so people weren't transferring something that wouldn't be a appropriate standard next door to your house, you know, in town. You can't get around that part of it. We also have a very large historic district and you are able to kind of stick to your historic district standards. Which certainly, I think some of these would not meet the historic district standards, but other portions of your residential zones, they would.
Did you say anything?
No, what she stated is specifically what is the law stated. The main reason for it was, as she said, stick builds and traditional housing is becoming too expensive. And to help with lower cost housing, they want to prohibit a blanket ban of manufactured homes and modular homes. So they did still allow for historic districts and for things of that sort. And the nice thing about your town and this town is that you have a huge historic district. And it really does leave it to the outskirts to allow for this type of housing. So it's not going to be going into your downtown, housing right downtown. But it will open up some opportunities for individuals who may not have enough, may have a piece of land that they could use, but can't afford to put in a stick built or traditional built house.
The other thing I'll add that this is your choice is that the town has allowed mobile trailers and trailer coaches to be used in emergencies for a certain amount of time. So that ability is still there. If for some reason you guys didn't want to allow that ability, then you don't have to. But we left that there, as the town has been doing that in the past. We just put a 6-month limit on it.
The history of that is we don't want to disrupt people from living and actually, you have an individual suffers a fire or some sort of damage from a hurricane, or some wind damage or something like that. Or they have to move out of the house to do the repairs. We don't want to interrupt children from going to school in the school that they were going to and being in the neighborhoods that they are. They have enough room to put one in for temporary use.
But it has to be on property, correct? I mean,
It has to be on
can't
property.
Anywhere,
Correct. It would have to be on the property, it would have to be attached to the sewer and water,
sewer and water.
temporarily
That's
attached to the sewer and water. And it would be something that would be only up to, I believe, 6 months is the most new one.
Okay.
So how does this affect, trailers and mobile homes that are already on these pieces of property?
Your code has now. You look at. 174. 4 was 3. On the bottom of page 3, this is what your current code says. Nothing in this chapter shall be construed to make it unlawful for any person who has received a permit before for the house, trailer, coach, or mobile home as a place of habitation to continue to use the same until expiration of the permit, according to the terms of that permit. Or until such trailer, coach, mobile home has been removed from the location. So as long as the permit allows it, once you move it, you're done. So if somebody has one that has been here for a certain amount of time and it was properly permitted by the town, then it can remain. And nothing, you can see nothing changed to that section.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to pass ordinance 2025-13?
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 2025-13.
Do I have a second?
Again, this is just for first reading. You have it again.
Yeah, this is first reading. Do I have a second? Done now, Margaret.
Thing for me.
Mr. Lee? Do I have a second? This is first reader. Yes.
Just as a reminder, we are currently not in compliance with state law, with our current zoning. This ordinance brings us into compliance with state law. We are required to adopt, whether it's this particular language or not, Maureen is much better equipped to answer, but this is required legislation by the state. And secondly, I'll just add for the record that the planning commission heard this last night and recommended unanimously that it be approved by the council.
Approved. Mr. Lee? Do I have a second?
I'll make one more comment.
Yes.
You certainly have the ability, to adopt this accept it for first reader tonight. And if you feel the need for more information or more discussion, we can certainly schedule another work session between now and the second reader in August. At which time you could have a free flowing discussion as the areas that might be of concern where you need clarification. I
Okay,
think that's more than reasonable. The first reader simply gets the topic on the table. And then it gives
And then we
public
can-
notice that this is part of the pending business of the town, and that's why it's not actually adopted until the second.
Okay.
So if you can accept it tonight for first reader, get the votes and all, get the topic on the table. If you'd like, you can certainly schedule a work session between now and the August, and get into it in more detail.
okay. Is that acceptable to any of the other two council members? You're still abstaining, correct? Mr. Lee? Are you abstaining? Yes, the first reader, and then we have a work session? You would like that? Do I have an answer? What we have to do, rewrite this, if it's supposed to be state
Without any
law?
direction, it's hard for me to make any comment.
There was a work session with the state and the consultant,
The
an
consultant,
entire work session. He zoomed in from Saudi Arabia. Do you
That was
remember?
critical area.
No, that's good.
that was critical area.
For this.
Other state law.
Do I have an answer, Mr. Lee? Do I have an answer? No answers, no, okay, so is this tabled or what do you wanna do, guys? Do you wanna table it?
Yeah.
Or kill it? Table
Well,
it?
look, I mean, Rick, what already said is the state law requires you to allow these in zone. So any questions or concerns you have, we have to have a discussion about them when you so choose. So we can address the state law change.
Okay, any other questions? The mayor stepped in. Right? Do I have a recommendation to table?
I would table it for now.
Table it for now.
I mean, Rick's suggestion is to have it on a work session. It's a good suggestion, but without, comments from the council, it's hard to see if that's, something that they would be.
Can we go
do.
into a work session? If we have not gone through a first reader?
Yeah, you can have a work session.
Okay, do you, are you recommending, what are you recommending, council? Tell me.
Work session.
Let's do the work session.
Work session. I have two that say a work session. Mr. Lee? Mr. Lee,
Just,
Said yes?
I handed it to you.
did you say yes? I can't hear you. Okay, we'll have a work session on it. Okay, let's go on to ordinance 2025-14.
That's related to the one we just did, so I don't know that there's a point to introduce it for first reading, and if council was agreeable, that would just go along with the work session.
Yeah.
because that's the update to the table of permitted
Are you,
uses.
are you good with work session for number ordinance 2025-14? You're good? Work
Yes.
sessions, Mr. Lee? Okay, let's go to number 3, ordinance 2025-15. Attorney Howarth, will you talk about that one? Let's look to it. Penalties, fees, and fines.
So you did just have a work session on this where the council, the consensus to update these fees. So the water hookup fee for single family dwellings increased to $5,650. The example is also updated to reflect that change. And then consensus to raise the wastewater rates for single family dwelling to $11,350.
All right, do I have a motion to pass ordinance 2025-15 on the first reading?
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 2025-15 first reading.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Discussion,
I'm staying.
abstain. Mr. Lee is abstaining. And the reason why, Mr. Lee?
I'm staying.
You have no reason? Okay. Hearing only one abstain, the ordinance is passed, 2025-15. Okay. Comments from the public? No. No comments? Okay, comments from council. We'll start with Councilperson Lumpkins.
I want to thank everybody for their hard work on the July 5th festivities. It was great. I want to thank you for all your hard work. I really enjoyed it.
Councilperson Fletcher. Anything, any comments?
It was a great event. Even though I didn't get to most of it, but it was good. The fireworks were awesome. Saw lots of people.
Okay, Councilperson Lee.
I wanted to address, I attended the MML, I think all council persons did, all members did, if I'm not mistaken. And I want to share with you, council, a session that I attended. You don't have a chance or opportunity to share, these are the only times that we do, so I want to share this because I think it's extremely important. I attended, the Maryland Department of Planning's Planning Commission and Board of Appeals Education Fair. I really want to thank Rick for kind of insisting, not insisting, but recommending, encouraging me that would be a good course. And I don't think Rick was well with him. One of the things that I learned, council, out of from that session is the purpose of the comprehensive redevelopment plan. Comprehensive. Comprehensive plan. Sometimes I get tongue-tied. And in the very beginning and at the close, the presenter made this point. The purpose of the comprehensive plan is to review and update. The purpose of the comprehensive plan is to review and update. And basically, I missed it when he first said it. I missed it altogether. And then when others began to talk about it and fill it in and around that purposes, you don't start over every 10 years or anything that comes along. You first you first go back and look at the comprehensive plan previous. That's the purpose. It is not about what you want to do or what the hot button issue is of the moment. Where are you today in relationship to what you did from the last plan? And you got a little further reach back this time, but most everybody does because of COVID. So that to me, when I read, and really hit me when he said it the second time in closing out. But as I began to think about Snow Hill, and I began to think about what I've been talking about, and my purpose for running for council is on target. And that is to look at what the community said it wanted, make a determination where it is and why, and then what is it you want to bring to the table now to embellish and go forward. So what it does, in a sense, historically, it preserves the integrity of the building blocks. Now, if they're bad building blocks, then you got some bad building blocks. That's your problem. But as I look at it, as we get ready for the comprehensive plan, we want to look at what's taking place around us right now. You heard mentioned earlier the sale of the fire station. Critical, absolutely critical. If you destroy the blocks and some of the legislation, why that we have passed or and some that we didn't pass and some that some folks want to pass, what does that do in terms of going forward and in terms of looking backwards? So I just think it's some efforts to. I don't want to be crude, so I'm going to search for good language. But I think that there are efforts to persuade or move away from where the intent was for us to go. And that's all going to come out. It's all going to come out. But we can't take actions in front of the comprehensive plan that's going to hijack the intent of the comprehensive plan, period. And then another thing, I want to say this for those who are listening, parents. Folks, parents, every time I go to that river and see young people swimming in that river, I cringe. And you know what I think about everything, council? I know we have addressed this issue and done as much as we can. But I think, and I say it to the parents who are listening, if your children are swimming in that river out there, you want to take every effort that you can, make every effort that you can. I remember seeing, when I was very young, people out there swimming, a man drowned, and I saw them pull him out, body sometime later out of that river. I don't know why it didn't move, but I remember seeing that body being pulled out of that river, however it happens, a long time ago. But every time I see it, and what sticks with me is the strength of those currents out there. And then young people out there swimming in it. And I know we've talked to the chief about it. We talked to, it's just like, he says, those kids riding them bikes. They can't pursue them. They pursue them, something happens to them, and you get hurt or something. And the town is, so you can't go out there and say something to somebody else's children. But it is critical. And I saw it again last night. I brought it to my colleague's attention last night, and he said the same thing again. I think that what did we say we were going to do about that? We're going to put a sign up or something? What sign was that? I don't recall.
It's when we were talking about the docking regulations, one of the things you wanted on the sign was to say no swimming.
Counselor, is it permissible? Where would we be if we put a sign up out there that says no? swimming prohibited in that river. Can we, would that be more powerful? Or does that make sense?
Well, I would say this. Excellent public comment to keep the children of the community safe, but if we want to have a discussion of more in depth, since it wasn't on the agenda, we probably leave that thought with staff
Okay.
to get back to you on.
I think, Rick, if I may, would you take it up with staff? I think that if we said prohibited, I think it's much stronger than putting it on that sign, putting it up there, and then that would stop. And I don't know, somebody's gonna say, well, I see the people out there when like they did when they were grown folks out there in the river swimming also, you know, but particularly when they were doing, what was it, boat races and what have you. I don't know what you do, but I just think it's something. I think we'd be well served to say swimming is prohibited, and that would stop, because young people have no business swimming in, out there in that. And
Okay, I just want to thank the staff. Also, sometimes they forget on 4th of July that the town is also has a big part in it. Between Public Works and the Police Department and Economic Development. I mean, Economic Development had set up vendors and communication coordinator, all the vendors, and then the town is paid for a large portion of the fireworks. So thank you to everyone for a great time. And how many towns around us, Chief, that had no incidents?
None.
None. So I
I'll take
just
it.
want, you just do an amazing job. I am so proud of you. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
A second?
A second.
All in favor, say aye. All in favor, say aye.